Hey guys, come on in. Hello, hello. Today is Monday, November 10th, and we're going to have our Q&A and immigration update live Freedom Now show. If freedom is in your heart, type in freedom now. Freedom now means that you cannot wait. You demand freedom, immigration freedom, that is. So type in freedom now if that is how you're feeling on the inside of you. I'm LaToya McBean Pompy, an immigration lawyer working with clients nationwide at McBean Law, where we believe in immigration freedom. I hope you guys had a terrific weekend. You may reach out to us at McBean Law at 914-898-9488. It's so great to be with you today. Hey there, Navia, Raphael, and others. Thank you so much for being here with me. I have several important updates to share with you. We'll start off on a good note, okay? So we'll start with some good news that I think we all need these days. Type in freedom now, and also let me know, guys, where you're joining from today. If you're watching on Facebook, be sure to share this live session with your feed. Double tap the screen. On TikTok, it's good to see you. Well, TikTok is right here. It's great to see you. And Instagram, thank you for being here. Let's start off, guys, with some important good news, okay? Important good news. And it has to do with the fact that a jury just awarded $112 million. That's right, in a landmark ICE detainer case here in New York. This is a historical verdict in New York federal court in the Eastern District of New York, in which the jury awarded $112 million to a class of 674 individuals who were illegally detained by Suffolk County between the years of 2016 and 2018. Because ICE placed a detainer on them, the Suffolk County jails decided, well, we're going to hold on to them a little bit longer until ICE comes and gets these people. And the court held, this was earlier in the year, actually, in January, the court held that that Suffolk County had violated the plaintiff's Fourth Amendment rights by detaining them just based on a request from ICE, which is the detainer. That in and of itself is not enough. Okay, it was a violation of their Fourth Amendment rights. And this is significant, guys. This is a landmark decision. And Suffolk County, for those of you who aren't familiar with the geography here in New York, it's Long Island. It's all the way out there in Long Island. And it was detaining folks based on, these are people who had already either spent time in jail or their case was dismissed. And and the Suffolk County jail still kept them there, okay, without a judicial warrant or even probable cause. They continue to detain these individuals. So this is a huge, huge victory. The county attempted to appeal this decision earlier in the year, but it was dismissed by the Second Circuit Court of Appeals. And now, friend, the big issue here is how this decision could potentially impact other jurisdictions. That's yet to be seen, but this was a case that was led by Winston and Strawn, as well as Latino Justice, PRLDEF, and this has the impact, hopefully, of sending a signal to other jurisdictions saying that an ICE detainer is not enough under our Constitution to detain folks who should no longer be detained in these jails. This is significant, and this is a major, major victory. So this is great news, and I wanted to start off with something really, really good. The next news, however, is not so amazing, okay? And it has to do with public charge. Public charge is the idea that individuals who are applying for a green card, okay, just to simplify it a little bit, should prove that they will not come to the United States and be a burden to the United States. And so so therefore, individuals need a sponsor in order to be qualified for a green card. What we're hearing now, and you might have already seen some videos circulating on social media, is the fact that the Trump administration has issued a directive to U.S. embassies, to visa officers, telling them to deny applications for the immigrant visa based on a medical conditions for individuals who are obese, folks who potentially have diabetes, cardiovascular diseases, cancers, and mental health conditions. This public charge standard now includes these health conditions. And this is a major shift in how visa officers look at these applications. They're now going to have to make a judgment call and consider the individual's health and whether they are likely to come to the United States and be a burden, so to speak, on our healthcare system. While this directive technically applies to all visa applicants, experts say it will primarily affect those seeking permanent residency in the United States. Immigration and legal advocates warn that this policy effectively discriminates against older adults, people with disabilities, and individuals with chronic illnesses, and could block millions of qualified immigrants who manage these conditions responsibly. This new guidance, friends, which I haven't seen, but it is being reported in the media that it has been sent to the U.S. embassies across the globe. This new guidance appears to contradict the State Department's own rules, which prohibits visa denials based on what if scenarios, or speculative assumptions about future health problems or costs. This is very big, guys, when you really sit down and think about it. The fact that they're going to consider a person's weight, their medical conditions, existing conditions that they have, such as diabetes or heart problems or other issues, even mental health issues, before awarding a visa. I'll be sure to keep you guys updated on this very important update. The third update, guys, has to do with the asylum fee. The asylum fee, friends, remember that $100 fee that created so much confusion leading up to October 1st, where we were all scrambling. No one could figure out how to pay the fee, where to pay it, who it applied to. There was a mass amount of confusion about this asylum fee. Well, based on a court ordered USCIS to stop collecting this $100 asylum fee, which is an annual fee that was built into, or is built into, the One Big Beautiful bill or act now. And USCIS is not happy about this. They do not like the fact that a court has told them to stop collecting the fee. However, they've decided that they're going to comply with it, and they're no longer requiring you to submit that $100 annual fee to them. And they've also said that they will not be refunding anyone who has already paid that fee. So hold on to your receipt. I don't know if they're going to change their mind. They do advise that you hold on to your payment receipt to show proof that you've made this payment. Again, USCIS is not collecting or going to collect this $100 fee. And any notices that they've sent to you, they've told you online on their website that you could disregard it. Disregard it during this time. They think this is they're temporarily blocked, okay, temporarily blocked from collecting this fee. This is good news, good news. All right, now let's go into TPS for a minute here. TPS for South Sudan. Unfortunately, DHS has decided to end TPS, temporary protected status, for nationals of South Sudan. Can you imagine where we see these videos of what's happening in South Sudan? Our government has made the determination that it's safe to deport people and send people back to South Sudan. The protections will end, guys, effective January 5th, 2026. The government gave this 60-day notice about the expiration, the fact that they will not extend TPS for South Sudanese, which is really disappointing. And then lastly, friends, we received a very brief update from the State Department about the DV Diversity Visa Program. I didn't check this morning to see if there's been an update with respect to this. We prepared for today's show over the weekend, and the last update that I do have is from the State Department saying that you still have to wait. We still have to wait for information about when the DV lottery process will open up. Details about the DV 2027 registration period, including the official start date and when applicants can check selection results through the entry status check system, will be announced soon. These procedural updates will not affect the visa application period for those selected in the DV 2027 program. So, guys, well, we still don't know anything quite yet. It still has not opened up for you guys to play the lottery. Lastly, one final update, and this is a correction. This is about Baltimore. During my show last week, I referred to Baltimore County and Baltimore City interchangeably during my live session, and it caused quite a bit of stir and confusion. So my apologies for that. But Baltimore County, the update should have said I should have said Baltimore County is now agreeing to cooperate with ICE um, for to share information and to be deputized and all of that to share information with ICE about individuals who they arrest and house in their local jails. So Baltimore County, which is different from Baltimore City, for those of you who have been DMing me, and it's just been a lot. So my apologies for the confusion, guys. Now let's get into your immigration questions. Okay. Let's talk about what is on your mind today. Type in freedom now. Someone says that my husband has already gotten the letter and paid that $100. Yeah, a lot of people have paid that $100, including our clients, and now USCIS, pursuant to a litigation, which is good, right? We've got to push back. We've got to push back, okay? We've got to push back. Double tap the screen here, guys, on TikTok. Thank you very much, and give some heart and start to follow me on TikTok if you are not yet following me on TikTok. Let's shift this over a little bit. Okay, perfect. All right. Medical deferred action does take a while to get an answer. Leonardo is asking for some people. It takes about a year, really. It's a very long process. You would think that the government would be faster with making the decision about a medical deferred action, but they're really not. All right, thank you. Chicago is in the house. Let's see. Let's go down a little bit here. Thank you so much for being with me today. Let's see. I applied for an I-130 for my wife. I was born in the U.S. Okay, I'm a U.S. citizen. We have two daughters. They're both naturalized U.S. citizens, and my wife has never entered the United States. Okay, Carlos, what is the issue there that you'd like for me to hone in on? Just ask a question. Guys, just ask the question directly so that I can get through as much as possible. Okay, let's see. I want to know about green card holder spouse visa processing time. Explain it. My case has been pending for a year now, but there is no update. So the F2A category on the visa bulletin is really what you should be looking at there as a green card holder spouse. The government, for some people, they've been waiting 2 or 3 years now because there was a significant slowdown in that category. However, if your priority date is current and the government still has not taken action on your case yet, absolutely get very aggressive and file that mandamus, because it's unfair to you to mandamus to force that next step in the process. It's very unfair for them to keep you waiting for any time longer than their processing time. Okay. Let's see, go down. Hello, hello. Do we file VAWA? Yes, we do VAWA cases here at McBean Law for both men and women. VAWA is a process that allows individuals to self-petition for a green card. It takes a little bit under a year to process naturalization cases on average. Hello there, Miriam. Good to see you. Thank you. Thank you. Let's go down here. Okay. And I'm asking, guys, if you've asked your question on one forum, please do not jump over to another one in this to ask the question. Let's see. There is no vaccine waiver. There is no COVID vaccine requirement anymore. However, if you need to waive any of the other vaccines, you could contact us so that we could talk about your qualification for the waiver of that's required for the case in order for you to finally get your green card. How can I obtain strong proof of bona fide marriage if my husband lives outside of the United States now, and I cannot move to his country because of my job? So the government knows that because you're living in two different countries, that you will not have as much evidence around a bona fide marriage as those who are here in the United States going through adjustment of status. So you would need to primarily prove that it's bona fide based on the journey leading up to your marriage, and certainly what your life is like, your communications and such. What is that like today in light of the fact that you guys are living in two different countries? So the standard is a little easier, I would say, for those who are petitioning for a spouse outside of the United States. And certainly, if you show your travel history, that you've visited your spouse recently and that you're invested in his or her life. Thank you, guys. Type in freedom now as you're joining today's live session. I do not have any update right now about Cameroon. If TPS has ended for your country, guys, in which, as you see, this government is ending TPS for many countries, okay? They're just ending it. And litigation is going on with respect to some countries. You've got to think about what your strategy is for lawful status, for transitioning. And for some of you, in light of what's going on in your country and your background, you might be eligible to apply for asylum. And some people might even be eligible for a family-based process, okay? Thank you. I forgot some details about my ex who isn't a U.S. citizen. Will that impact my citizenship interview approval? What have you forgotten? What details have you forgotten about your ex? And did you become a green card holder through marriage? You should not be seeking early naturalization, by the way, if you are no longer with the spouse who helped you to get a green card. After 6 months, I finally received a receipt for my U visa case, but no work permit yet or anything else. They are so slow with responding. Yes, the humanitarian cases, they are slow. They are slow today. They are slow. You need to reach the bona fide determination in that U visa case in order for you to get a work permit. Let's see. Double tap and say freedom now, guys. I'm LaToya McBean Pompy, an immigration lawyer in New York. Thank you for joining today's live session. Let's see. Let's go down a little bit here. Freedom now. Can I file for citizenship based on 5 years rule? I'm not sure about the other part of your question there. When you think about applying for citizenship and whether you should apply for citizenship, certainly, guys, the first consideration that I want you to think about is how was my green card journey? What happened? Was there a mistake that was made during the green card process, or was it a smooth, clear, easy green card process? I have nothing to worry about. Okay, great. Secondly, is what is my background like? Will they think that I have good moral character or bad moral character, or not so good moral character? What what about my journey and time here in the United States proves that I've been progressive, I've been moving along, I've been contributing, I've been a good person, so to speak. There's a lot that goes into that, but what can you talk about or show proof of to prove that you have good moral character? Those are really the issues that you've got to think about as you're approaching citizenship, and also whether you have a criminal record or not. And if so, what type of record, and how can that record be explained to immigration? Think about those things, okay? Let's see. Um, Passport is fine to prove U.S. citizenship when a child is petitioning for a parent. Can someone use the same person for affidavit of support in two different cases? Yes, so long as the income is sufficient to prove that that sponsor uh, can cover you, the second person. And also keep in mind that if you have a sponsor who had petitioned for someone else, that the government and that person is still a green card holder, well, the government will still count that person as part of the household and the responsibilities. So that's why you've got to include that person in the on the I-864 application. Count that person, okay? Um, let's see. And let's see. SB1, yes, you might be pending I-751. Okay, been out of the country longer than a year. You've been out of the country longer than a year. That's not good. This person only has a 2-year green card and been out of the United States for longer than a year. Um, uh, could I be detained at the airport? Christina is asking, Christina, you could consult with us one-on-one to talk about what strategy you could potentially get back into the United States, because you are a resident, okay? You are a resident. It's tricky because you've been away for so long. My question is, well, um, what will they query your relationship with your spouse? You did mention that the reason for being outside of the United States so long is because of pregnancy. So that's a good explanation. If you had, high risk pregnancy and couldn't travel, that is definitely something that could be explained. I do think that you still can come back into the United States. You have rights to return to the United States. Um, but reach out to us for us to discuss this a little bit further, okay? But I think you still can come back into the United States. All right. Freedom now, guys. Let's go. Let's go. Um, my wife is a teacher. Our visa is H visa, but we're planning to self-petition. What are the requirements? Requirements for what? Which self-petition process are you looking at here? Are you going to do EB1, EB2? What are you thinking there? Let's see. Um, let's go down here a little bit. I want to apply for the EB3 unskilled visa. Is this affected by the Trump administration? So employment-based processes are still working. You can still get that EB3 approval. It's still going, guys. It is still moving. Yes, there was obviously a little slowdown because the government is still, I think, shut down. I know there's a lot happening right now on Capitol Hill, but EB3 is something that is still working. Okay, you just have to, it's not the fastest process in the world. My two sons are US citizens. Can they petition for me? Even I'm still a green card holder. So why would you're a green card holder? I'm not sure, James, what you're asking there. You're already a green card holder. There's no need for anyone else to petition for you. I'm not sure what you're asking there. Reframe the question, please. Um, let's go here. Let's go up a little bit. If your work permit was sent back to USCIS, what's the best way to go about it as an immigrant? Why was your work permit sent back to USCIS? I got my interview. I don't know. I don't have any response. It's been 3 months. They are actively reviewing my case, Amir says. Amir, reach out to us for a discussion because what I'd want to know is how things went during your interview and what kind of case you have, and if there were any flags that came up during your interview or even in your filing. I'm happy to take a look at those issues and advise you further, okay? Type in freedom now. Let's see. How many FOIA does immigration check? How many FOIA? That's just the question doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. Gima, you might want to reframe that. The government, if you're asking, how much of a review the government does of your file when you're going through an immigration process. Well, they make mistakes all the time, of course. However, they're trying to be a lot more thorough these days. If you're doing naturalization, they're going to look at everything, including your visa application. When you're going through the green card process, they're also supposed to look back at your visa application to make sure that the information is consistent. Do they always do that? No, but most times they do. So they need to get the information that's on your record to make a decision about a case that's pending in front of them. They're looking for consistency. I do not have an update today about DACA. Okay. My US citizen daughter has filed for me. My medical was sent in December. No update since processing time was to be done by June 2025. Loretta, contact us to talk about what's going on. Firstly, we would want to know what embassy your case is pending at, because it could very well just be a backlog issue there. Contact us. And also, um, you know, your medical was sent there's a little disconnect happening here in my mind with regard to your facts, because your medical and everything should have been sent in the very beginning with your file there to the US Embassy. Were you interviewed and then they told you they need additional information on the medical side? I'm unclear on the facts. Okay, so let's have a one-on-one. Hey there, Freedom Now. Freedom Now. It's been 6.5 months after my marriage-based interview without a decision. The interview was held on May 1st, and my I-130 was approved. Great. RFE responded in September. What did they ask, Marnik, with respect to the RFE that you submitted your response in September? And this is the Brooklyn Field Office. More facts are needed privately, one-on-one, to assess whether you're likely to be approved of the green card, which is the I-485 application process, or whether we need to strategize about what's next for you in the event they deny your case. All right. My mom is a US citizen. She filed for her kids since 2019. The application was approved in 2019. What category? Is this a F1 category for adult children? What category are they in? You say, the word kids, when it just depends on the age, really, certainly. Green card holders with a criminal record, I do not recommend that they travel outside of the United States at this time. I do not recommend it. But if you decide to travel and your case was dismissed, certainly carry the paperwork with you, showing that when you leave the United States, have the paperwork with you for your return, showing that your case was indeed dismissed. Thank you for the gifts there on TikTok. Thank you very much. Good to see you, Bithy. Good to see you. Thank you. Freedom now, guys. Um, let's see. Okay. Someone says my case just got recalendared. Master calendar hearing is coming up. I'm willing to marry my best friend. I love her so much. She will file an I-130 for me. So here's the thing. You marrying your best friend. Are you in a relationship with your best friend? That's what matters here. The government will want to know whether you're marrying this person, your best friend, because you're in removal, you have your hearing coming up and you're looking for a way out. The bar or the standard is a little higher. You'll need to prove that you're marrying this person not for those reasons to get out of court or the removal process. So watch your intent there, okay? And and if it's a genuine relationship, of course, marrying that person, if that person wants to marry you, makes a whole lot of sense if you guys want to spend your life together here in the United States, okay? Thank you. Freedom now, guys. Type in freedom now and let me know where you're watching from. What about green card holders with a clean record? They are okay. They're okay. Keep your record clean. All right. And then if you're eligible for citizenship, apply for citizenship. All right. Freedom now. Let's go down here. Islamabad, I believe that's about a year of a wait time at the embassy level there from what I see around here with respect to our docket. I'm not reviewing any external information for to know anything otherwise or anything different. Freedom now, guys. Thank you for being with me today. Okay. Does the beneficiary who has long-term illness, such as diabetes or high blood pressure, seem to be rejected by the counselor? Now, I did mention earlier about the update regarding public charge, and that these U.S. embassies receive some sort of guidance or directive, which I haven't seen yet, that suggests that if an individual has high blood pressure or chronic illness, that they should be considered a public charge concern, that they could come to the United States and depend on the system here. And so the consular officer need to consider that factor and deny the visa. That's what my understanding is of the directive. Once I learn more information about it, I will share it with you. Remember, under Trump 1.0, they were working to change public charge to consider a person's age. Remember that? Health and income. They were trying to they had all these different factors that they wanted the officers to consider to weed people out who did not meet a certain threshold. Obviously, this is what they're looking to do again. They did not get very, very far during Trump 1.0 with respect to public charge, but it looks like they're trying to push through some things a little faster now. VAWA usually takes 3 years for processing. Thank you. Let's see. I have a court date coming up soon. What should I do? What you should do? I have a lot of videos out there about this issue. You should certainly work with an immigration attorney to strategize about what form of relief you have. That's the first thing. You need to know what your strategy is walking into that courtroom and whether you have an opportunity to stay here or not. That time, the time leading up to your first hearing is really critical, and it's the time when we as lawyers at McBean Law, I don't know what anyone else does, at McBean Law, where we look at your records, we then need to file certain petitions or applications for our clients to USCIS if there's a USCIS part that we need to do. We also prepare an application for the immigration court so that we could be ready on that first day, at that first hearing, to let the judge know that our client has an opportunity to stay in the United States, and here's how. So get yourself a lawyer if you have a hearing coming up. Let's see. Thank you guys for being here today. Shari says that I appreciate the work that you do. I've referred so many patients to you. It feels like they're patients, right? Like, oh, they need help, right? They're patients. She says that I've referred so many patients to you and they've gotten so much help from you. That's good. Thank you so much for doing that. We appreciate your referral. Thank you to all of you who do send our videos and our phone number and contact information to others. Thank you. I've answered that one. About a year with respect to Islamabad. Let's see. Okay, I've someone says that I recently got my 2-year green card and didn't know that I could terminate my asylum application at the interview. I already sent a letter to USCIS in August to terminate the application, and it's still pending. Yeah, USCIS doesn't always, first of all, send a letter. In some cases, they do send a letter saying that they've received this update from you, and that's that. Other times you just won't even hear anything. You've done your part, and there are times when they also don't update the system to show that this application should no longer be marked as pending. That's just how it is. And you don't really have that much control over it. I would say that if they do try to call you in for an asylum interview, that will be another opportunity that you'll have to let them know that you've withdrawn your asylum case because you already have your green card. Okay? Freedom now, guys. How long does it take to terminate the application? What application are you referring to? If it's I think this is the same person who asked about, yeah, same person who had asked about asylum. Okay. Okay, let's go down a little bit. Your son can use his U.S. passport as proof that he's a U.S. citizen to petition for the parent. Green card holders like to ask me questions about whether they can travel with their criminal record in many different ways. And I don't know how else to make that my tip clear on that I just don't think it's a great idea. Not during this time, guys. Not during this time. If my case has been delayed from inquiry date, can I ask USCIS to issue my U visa case? So U visa takes a long time. Has it been 7 years? Has it been 8 years? How long has it been since you filed your U visa application? It takes a long time, okay? But contact us because we can determine whether we could do the mandamus for you to force that next step in that case. Um, Yes, we do have experience with DACA and advanced parole. Yes. Let's see. Okay, let's go down a little bit. Carlos wants to know, why are some I-130 cases being processed in less than a year? I applied for my wife back in May. And online, it says 15 months for processing. I don't know why they're doing that. I don't know why they would approve some in 3 months, which we've been seeing 3 or 4 months, and then others would take much longer. Of course, the longer processing time noted there helps the agency to cover itself so that we lawyers wouldn't file so many mandamus. So they have these long processing times noted on their website, but don't be discouraged by that. If you filed a good, strong case, make it easy. Guys, make it easy for them to say yes to you. They will say yes to you. Hello there. Hello there. Thank you for joining today's Freedom Now show. Come on in. Let's see. Double tap the screen. Can I file for my spouse living abroad after 2 years of marriage? Yes. If it's, if you'd like to bring that person to the United States, yes. Let's go down. Is it true that Haitians might get TPS? I'm not sure what you mean by that. I heard it from a friend. I just wanted to know if you heard the rumor. I have not heard it yet. Okay, but my weekend was not consumed by immigration news and what's happening with immigration. I literally pulled away this past weekend. So if there's any update on the Haitian TPS side, I will learn about it this week. Okay. I have a domestic violence case that was dismissed 3 years ago. My ex-wife had lied on me. I have a 10-year green card. Can I travel internationally? You may travel with proof that your case was dismissed if you choose to. Let's see, go down a little bit. Early naturalization. Oh, um, okay, let's go down. It's raining outside on our end. In New York, our case is slow for green card holder spouse. I don't, I don't, um, I have not ever thought about it based on geography, um, with respect to that category, green card holders, in New York. We know, generally speaking, I know generally speaking, that there was a slowdown that we were all experiencing over the last couple of years because of that F2A category. A lot of people have their priority date current now. Your case should be moved along. So certainly reach out to us to see if we could push and force the government to take that next step. And be very aggressive, guys. There's a time to wait, and then there's a time to be aggressive. People with DACA, are they protected? Someone is asking on TikTok. DACA protects you from being deported. That's the extent of the protection that it offers at this time. Deferred action, okay? Deferred action. Let's see. I-751, removal of conditions. What will be the process and time? The government gives you 48 months extension. Do you think we're going to get an interview? I could only think that you'll get an interview if I knew more facts about your case, of course. They are calling quite a bit of people in for interviews, but they're still waiving interviews, even for some removal of condition cases. Okay, my brother is detained. The judge denied his reopen request, so they would like to send him to another country if they can't send him to Myanmar. So third country, there's a big push right now for with regard to country removals. Okay, and so what needs to be considered here is whether a habeas can with a TRO can stop or interfere with the government moving him to a third country. Can he be interviewed? He should be interviewed to determine whether he has any fear of torture or persecution in another country, whatever country that is, that they have on the list potentially for him to be moved to if they cannot send him back to Myanmar. These are things that really need to be considered and move fast on, because the government is transferring, I should say, people to places like Louisiana very quickly, which is the hub for getting people out of the United States, flying them out. So a case like this, you could have someone in detention today, and they're detained for the 90 days under a mandatory detention that the government is pushing. And then after that 90 days, they could send that person straight to Louisiana. And then within 72 hours, that person can be removed from the United States. So this is what's going on, guys. And so you have to move very swiftly to see whether your brother stands a chance to be interviewed, right? Based on maybe fear of torture or persecution in that third country, and whether the procedures were followed correctly inside while he was detained, and whether a CAT application could be filed on his behalf, whether he could file a CAT application, and certainly whether he could be released. So these are all of the things that we would need to think about. And just so, guys, by the way, we have been doing coordination and work around all of these kinds of issues that I've described here, because more and more people are being detained and things happen very, very quickly. And so you've got to think about all of these things, work with an immigration attorney so that we could see whether there's anything we could do to stop the deportation. And I'm not guaranteeing that we can stop it, but certainly your brother has some rights, and we would want to make sure that he gets a winning chance to present at least a CAT application to the government, okay? All right, guys, freedom now. And we're working with detainee clients across the United States, guys, upstate New York, uh, Arizona. I think there's maybe Georgia, Louisiana area, and I forget where else. Um, uh, Orange County, New York. So we're doing a lot of heavy lifting, okay, behind the scenes here. When you don't see me in your face every day live, that's the reason. Um, is it advisable to apply for citizenship if you're unemployed? So, Jen, we would look at what else? Is this just a brief period of unemployment? I think you can still do it so long as you have an explanation as to what's going on. Are you out on disability? Are you retired? Of course, you can apply for citizenship, but they're going to be looking at your application as a whole. So we would look to see what else we could put in there for you to tell the story of who you are, and that you should be eligible for citizenship. Okay. Okay. Let's go down a little bit. Freedom now, guys. Double tap the screen. Thank you for being here. And if I see the spamming, just know I'm just going to skip over your question. I really am. And I'm doing it intentionally too. Let's see. I had my family-based interview in September of 2025, but I have not received any updates to show that I already did my interview. No update from USCIS at all. Um, okay, so you haven't gotten any updates yet, but you did your interview, and they're still evaluating your application. Today's November 10th. Just pay attention to your mail. They may or may not send you a request for evidence. I would want to know. I always go back to the interview. What happened during that interview? How did things really go? Right? We would take an objective look at what happened during that interview. It's so important. Let's see. Let's go down a little bit. Freedom now, guys. Um, Someone says he got his green card without applying. And others are saying, oh, it must be nice. Must be nice. But this person is worried, and he should be. You could contact us for us to see what this is all about. I'm not sure how to answer your question. Um, okay. Let's see. Someone says that his mother applied for naturalization. Okay. And she's on discipline. Her disability was granted, but her naturalization case was denied. Okay. What do you suggest? Can you share what you recommend? Apply for after how many years? Um, why did they deny her application? That's what I want to. I will start there, Shodi. Why did they deny your mom's naturalization application? Because based on the reason, we will then be able to let you know or her know whether she can try again after how X number of years. It's hard for me to make the determination now. You mentioned that she was granted disability. Was her naturalization denial based on or has anything to do with that? I'm not sure what the connection between the two are, but I'm happy to dive into it. So just book a consultation. Thank you, guys. Let's go down a little bit. My Someone says that I'm planning to travel to Africa, be there for 2 months. I'm a green card holder, and green card and passport, they're all valid. Do I need any other travel documents? The green card is what's going to get you back into the United States. I think you're fine there. Once a lawyer Once a lawyer submits the I-601A waiver, does the applicant get notified? Well, it depends on how your lawyer, uh, what instructions did your lawyer give to the government, to USCIS? Did your lawyer say that the receipts, copies of the receipts should be shared with you as well, or only to the lawyer? It depends on how that lawyer structured the G28, okay? Freedom now, guys. Brian says, I've missed my yearly check-in with ICE. I have a final order for removal. You think anything will change in 3 years? I've missed my yearly check-in with final order for removal. You think anything will change in 3 years? Brian, I think we should talk, okay? I think we really should talk one-on-one because people who are checking in with ICE, just know that you're on the radar. You're on the radar. They easily know your situation, right? And there's the order of removals. It gives them a right to detain you. You were checking in, you violated by not checking in, right? You say you missed it. Did you then reach back out to them and say, I'm sorry, I missed it. Can you give me another date? Or did you intentionally miss it? These are very important, okay? ICE is re-detaining people who are checking in, and there are procedures that they must follow when they do so, okay? There are procedures, they must give you notice about why they're revoking your order of supervision. And there are certain things that need to happen on the inside once a person is detained. And so it's very important for you to understand what those procedures and steps are before you're detained by ICE to ensure they are being followed, and potentially what rights you may have for a writ of habeas corpus to be filed, or a temporary restraining order to stop the government from transferring you to another jurisdiction far away from your family, or to a place like Louisiana where they're sending out so many people out of the United States. There's a lot to think about and process. I think, Brian, you should certainly be working with an immigration attorney to strategize about your defense going forward, okay? And anyone who's in a situation like this, because I know that some people did not check in this year because of what they've been seeing. So there are consequences attached to that as well. So work with a lawyer to prepare yourself for next steps in your case, and to see whether there's anything that you could file, like a motion to reopen your immigration case. Okay, let's go down. Like I said, the spammers are being ignored at this time. I heard, oops, I heard that they now need DNA if you want to become a citizen. So last week I provided an update about a new proposal, a new proposed rule that would collect an unprecedented amount of data and personal information from individuals who are connected somehow to the immigration process. And DNA collection is part of what the government is planning on doing. It's absurd, guys. We have until January, I think, 2nd to do the public comment. Someone did ask me for the link on how they could comment publicly. Um, someone and I need to be able, I want to share that. We're gonna get that information to you guys on how to comment. It's so important for you to comment if you really believe in your privacy to the extent possible, and you don't think it's right for sponsors and petitioners to do biometrics and all of these invasive processes with the government. Comment, guys, comment. Um, and we'll have to find a way to get you guys the link on how to do that, the public comment. Let's see, double tap. Thank you guys for being here today. Freedom Now. Okay, someone says anyone who is going to court in New York, get a lawyer like her and be careful. Yeah, New York is New York his despite what you might have been hearing here and there about, oh, ICE is on Flatbush Avenue or where else? Canal Street, right? New York, for the most part, comparatively speaking, New York has been a little quiet, much quieter than Chicago, much quieter than Los Angeles. New York now, there's speculation that think they're going to rev things up here in New York. And I shared a video on Friday about this, that the governor's office, business leaders, civic leaders, and others are meeting to prepare for a potential ICE crackdown in New York City in light of last week's election of the new mayor-elect Mamdani. Okay, and um, but at the same time, it's being reported that the coalition that is meeting and strategizing, they're also reaching out to San Francisco officials to learn, what did you guys do? What did you say to the Trump administration to get them to not send troops to federal agents to San Francisco? Help us, give us the playbook. So they're looking at the playbook, from what I understand. I wish I was in, I'm not a fly on the wall in those rooms. Those important discussions are happening behind the scenes, but I could visualize what it's like because back in the day, I used to be in some rooms. So they're strategizing and trying to figure some things out right now. So guys, prepare yourself if you're in the New York City area. Immediately refresh yourself on what your rights are, video record every interaction with law enforcement, know of a lawyer that you could reach out to if you have a removal order, if you think that you're going to be detained, if you have an ICE check-in, have a lawyer in mind. Don't be out there on your own. And definitely get a motion to reopen filed, get something going. It's really important, okay? It's possible that they will just, this too shall pass with respect to New York City. It's possible because of financial reasons and business reasons. It's just really bad for business. So they might back off. They might. I hope that they will back off, okay? We'll see. We'll see. All right. But just immediately start working with a lawyer if you have a removal order. All right. People are being arrested at Federal Plaza. Yes. Of course, some people, not everyone. I gave you the intel a couple of weeks ago, letting you guys know that for Manhattan, what they're looking at are people who have a criminal record of any kind. They're looking for any arrest to mark you as as a criminal alien. And if they mark you as a criminal alien, well, they say, okay, which courtroom is this person in today? And then they go outside and they wait. That's how they're doing it in Manhattan, from what I understand. So know what that strategy is. Try to have a WebEx hearing. Many judges are granting these hearings. All right. All right. You guys have some great questions today. Let's see. Someone says that my wife sent a letter to withdraw my green card application. A few days later, USCIS sent me a letter saying that my application has been denied. What should I do? This is an awful situation. It is common, however. And so when we meet with you, we will figure out whether there's a way that you can move forward on your own, because if you had suffered any form of abuse in the marriage, you might be able to uh, move forward on your own. Okay, freedom now, guys. Freedom now. Thank you very much. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap up now, okay? And I will be back before you guys Tuesday night at 8 o'clock p.m. for our evening live session. So if I did not get to your question today, not to worry. I'll be back tomorrow night from my dining room table, and you might hear my dog snoring in the background. He just wants to stick with me everywhere I go, even when I put up barricades around myself. He breaks through and he wants to just be right there. So join me tomorrow night at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time for our next Freedom Now show. I have a terrific story testimonial that's on my desk, and I can't walk away to go grab it now. It was supposed to be here, but I didn't put it in front of me. But if you have not read Sunday's testimony, read it. It's a great story about a young man from Mauritania who had been stuck for so many years, over a decade. Why? Because of all these problems with his application for asylum. Over 10 years, guys, and we corrected the situation, and he was approved for his asylum through his father, who naturalized, became a U.S. citizen before he got his before the son had a chance to get his green card, so his asylum. So guys, read that story. It's a terrific story. And tomorrow on Tuesday, we have our Q&A going out as well. So subscribe to our newsletter at mcbeanlaw.com/subscribe. Thank you so much for being with me today, friends, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.